Hello, welcome to First Chapter Friday. Our story today is a thriller that was turned in an action movie that was turned into a movie about a little less than 10 years ago. And the book is Nerve, and it is by Jeanne Ryan. Chapter 1. I'm the girl behind the curtain, literally. But after I open the grand drape for Act 2, I'll have 40 minutes to kill. No more costume changes or makeup to coordinate unless an actor needs a quick repair. I take a deep breath. For opening night, things have gone smoothly, which worries me. Something always goes wrong the first show. It's tradition. I debate between heading to the girls' dressing room, where the talk will be about guys, or staying out in the hallway, where I might actually run into one. Well, one in particular. Since the guy in question has cue in 10 minutes, I choose the hallway and pull out my phone, even though Miss Santana, our drama coach, has us under threat of death to keep them off during all performances. Nothing new on my This Is Me page. Not surprising, since most of my friends are in the play or in the audience. I broadcast a message. Still a few tickets left for the next 2 shows, so buy one if your butt isn't already here. There, I've done my civic duty. Along with the message, I post a picture I took before the show of my best friend Sydney, star of the play, and myself. The photo's like something out of those contrast books from preschool. She, the golden Hollywood Barbie, hovering next to me, the retro Blythe doll, with pale skin, dark brown hair, and eyes a little too big for my face. But at least the metallic shadow I borrowed from the cast makeup kit makes them look bluer than usual. An ad for custom clothes pops up on my phone, promising to demonstrate how great I'd look in their latest sundresses. Summer clothes are wishful thinking in Seattle, especially in April, but a lavender one with a full skirt is too cute to resist, so I upload a photo of myself and fill in my height, 5'4", weight 10 something. As I'm debating what further measurements to enter, a familiar laugh booms out of the guy's dressing room, followed by its owner, Matthew, who sidles up next to me so our shoulders are touching. Well, my shoulder to his football team-honed bicep. He leans so that his mouth is inches from my ear. 34B, right? How did he read my phone so fast? I shifted out of his vision. None of your business. More like 32A anyway, especially tonight with my filmy bra that doesn't claim to perform miracles. He laughs. You were about to share it with total strangers. Why not me? I flick it off the display. It's just for this dumb ad, not a real person. He flips around so we're face to face, with his forearms pressed to the wall on each side of my head, and then says in his silky voice that always sounds like he's letting you in on a secret, Come on, I really want to see you in that dress. I tuck my arm behind my back. Really? My own voice is squeaky vinyl compared to his. How lovely. He reaches around me and slips the phone from my fingers. Or maybe something, more comfortable. Sliding back into position beside me, he pecks at the phone and holds up a picture of my face superimposed on a body wearing a white lingerie. The bust appears larger than life, well into the D range. A burning creeps up my neck. Funny. How about we do one of you now? He starts to unbutton his shirt. I'll model in person if you'd like. The hallway becomes stifling. I clear my throat. You need to stay in costume. So how about we start with the virtual you? Boy, could I sound any less appealing? His eyes twinkle greener than usual. Sure, after we finish playing dress up with Virtual V. We huddle next to each other as he selects various slips and bikinis. Every time I try to pull the phone away, He laughs and tugs it back. I try a different tactic, nonchalance. It almost works when I surprise him with a quick swipe. Not fast enough to get the phone away, but at least I hit the right part of the screen, closing the dress-up site. It's replaced with an ad for that new game called Nerve, which is basically Truth or Dare without the truth part. Under a banner that says, "Look who's playing," pop up 3 thumbnail pictures of kids completing various missions. Matthew's eyebrows rise. "Hey, let's check out this girl doing some pretend to shoplift dare." He tilts the phone so we can watch a video of a multi-pierced female stuffing bottles of nail polish down her camo pants. Even if she's pretending, it seems like a felony to stick any merchandise down those pants. And how does she get through the airport security with all those safety pins along her jawline? As if she hears my snarky thoughts, she turns to the camera and gives it the finger. The image zooms in on her wolf-like features, causing my shoulders to stiffen. With a smirk, she marches out of the store and into the parking lot, where she uses the polish to paint a crimson XXX on her own forehead. The clip fades to black, and Matthew clicks below to give the girl a 4 out of 5 star rating. I'd only have given her 3, if that. The idea was to pretend to shoplift, not to actually do it, I say. What kind of idiot would record herself breaking the law? He laughs. "Come on, that took balls. And who's going to complain about her taking the dare further than they asked for? She'd be fun to see in the live rounds." Whoa, do not mention that to Sydney. She was dying to try out for this month's game until she found out it's scheduled for closing night. What? Starring in the play isn't enough for her? I shift my weight from foot to foot. Although I tease Sydney about being a diva, I won't say it behind her back. High school theater doesn't win you big prizes. He shrugs, and his attention shifts back to the phone. "Hey, check out this clip of a guy letting his dog slurp soup out of his mouth." Nasty. Matthew gives it 5 stars anyway. As soon as he does, an ad flashes. Upload your own video for a chance to compete in the live game this Saturday. It's not too late. He wiggles the phone in front of me. "You should do one, little V." "Hello, I'm doing your makeup on Saturday, remember?" "I meant do one of those prelim dares for the hell of it. If you by some chance got picked for the live rounds, someone could cover makeup for you." Obviously, he thinks there's no way I'll be selected. And even if I were, anyone could slop a little grease paint on the cast. Suddenly I feel smaller. I tug at my shirt. Why bother? I'd never play for real anyway. Last month, the first time that the game was played, my friends gathered at my house and chipped in to watch the live rounds online. Being a watcher was exciting enough. Those players in the East Coast Grand Prize round who spent half an hour with their toes curled over the edge of a roof? No, thank you. Matthew pokes a couple buttons on the Nerve site. "Here's a list of dares you could try. Eat with your hands at a fancy restaurant. Go to an exotic grocery and ask for goat tester." I'm not doing any dare. He types something into my phone. "I know you won't. Just messing with you 'cause you're just so cute when you blush." Greta, who does props, runs over from backstage and taps his arm. "You're on it too." He hands the phone back to me, and it's already 10 feet away when I notice that he's uploaded my "This Is Me" status from single to promising. My heart does a little jump. Although I've got almost half an hour until the closing curtain, I follow him to the wings. He marches under the spotlight and takes his spot downstage left, next to Sydney, where they'll banter, argue, kiss, and sing before the show ends. For now, Sydney commands the stage, dramatically lit in blonde glory. I feel a surge of pride at the stunning vision that I created with her natural assets. Of course, I spent more time on Matthew, contouring every plane of his face with tender care. Even 20 feet away, the gleam of the spotlight in his eyes makes my knees go rubbery. I recite the lines along with the actors for the next half hour until we reach the finale, where the star-crossed lovers reunite. Matthew takes Sid's face in his hands, and their lips meet in a kiss that just goes on for 1, 2, 3 seconds. I bite my own lip, fighting a surge of envy, even though Sid insists that Matthew is way more hype than substance. She always thinks she knows what's best for me. The cast joins Sydney and Matthew to belt out the final song, and I draw the curtain closed. Since they'll do their bows on the apron, my stage duties are complete, and I head to the dressing room to collect the costumes. The girls' area is filled with the scent of hairspray and a huge bouquet of red roses that sits in the middle of the counter. I check the tag. For Sid, of course. A few minutes later, she and the other girls in the cast dance into the room, breathless and giggling. Instinctively, I hug my best friend. You were great! And look what someone sent you. She gives a little squeal and opens the card. Her eyes widen. An anonymous fan! I want to groan at the obvious ploy. Anonymous for about 2 minutes, until he slinks around looking for credit. She sniffs at the flowers and smiles, used to this sort of attention. Did you change your parents' mind about tonight? A tightness forms in my chest. Nah, at least they're letting me out of prison for the closing night party. After 5 months of following their rules to the letter, I've convinced them that I've earned my freedom. It'll be the first time I've been allowed out with my friends, unless you count working on the play or studying at the library, since the incident, which really was only an incident in my parents' imagination. Not that they believe my repeated insistence otherwise. Then I won't go either, Sydney says. I play punch her arm. Don't be silly. You've earned a good party. Just don't get hung over that you end up with heavy bags under your eyes. There's only so much makeup skills can cover. She undoes the ribbons on her corset. You sure? About the party, I mean? I have full faith in your makeup skills. I help her with the ties and back. Of course. Just tell me all about it. Or better yet, post pictures, okay? When she and the others have changed out of their costumes, I collect the clothes, checking for any garments that might need a quick iron or spot removed for tomorrow's show. Sydney gives me another hug before she takes off with Greta and the others. A few minutes after they leave, Matthew pokes his head in the room. How's daring little V? Even though my belly tingles at the sight of him, I try to maintain my cool as I scan a tweed jacket, checking the cuffs. I'm good. Who needs a first party when I can hang out with him for a bit before curfew? Yes, my status may really be promising after all. You and Sid going to Ashley's house? She is. I can't. Still grounded? Dang, girl, start studying more. He and most of my friends think my parents' strictness is the result of poor grades. Only Sydney knows the truth. At least they're letting me go to the cast party on closing night with a midnight curfew. Maybe if I float news of my impending freedom by him, he'll help me find ways to take advantage of it on Saturday. He nods towards the roses. She figure out who those are from? My breathing halts for a minute. How did you know they were anonymous? He winks. I have my ways. See you tomorrow. With a slow shake of his head, he gives me one last look over and says, You are way too cute to be working backstage. With that, he takes off. That's it? Our chance to be alone and he leaves? My stomach twists. And why did he care about the flowers? I try to avoid jumping to conclusions, but scroll through the possibilities anyway. Maybe a friend of his is crushing on Sydney, and Matthew's doing the recon. But something about the tone of his voice sounded uncertain, vulnerable. Could Matthew have bought her the flowers? She is his co-star, but still. My only consolation is that if Matthew did buy Sydney the roses, she hadn't bothered to take them home. I grit my teeth as I pull a little key from my purse to unlock a small cabinet that holds the secret weapon of costume managers, a spray bottle filled with a mixture of vodka and water. It's a cheap way to freshen up a costume. Miss Santana insists that she never trusted a student to use the spray without supervision before. I'm happy that at least one adult has faith in me these days, but if Mom and Dad knew, they'd have her job. Footsteps approach, and Tommy Toth, who designed the sets and presides over all the tech stuff, peeks into the room. "Tonight went great, huh?" I spray inside a heavy beaded dress that's a bit ripe. "Yeah, super smooth." "Everyone has left. When you're done, I'll walk you to your car." If there were an award for raising polite kids, Tommy's parents would win it big time. Even in 5th grade, when he and I were on safety patrol, he'd always offer to carry the stop signs. I head out of the room so that I can take care of the guys' costumes next door. "That's okay, I'm right outside." He follows me. "You okay?" I fold a pair of Matthew's pants that he left hanging over a chair. "Sure, it's just been a busy week." He stretches his arms upward. "Yeah, between the two of us, we're covering most of the crew's duties." "Yep, the backbone." No applause, though, no roses either. I blink my eyes dry and I turn to face him. "You did a great job, Tommy. No one else could have designed the sets the way that you did." The stage transforms from a war-torn Afghani village to a Tokyo dance club in 1 minute flat. It's a multicultural play. He shrugs. "Don't be so modest. You deserve as much attention as the actors." "There are benefits to not being center stage." My eyebrows must go to my hairline. "Name one." "Privacy." I laugh, which comes out between a grunt and a snort. "That's a benefit?" He shrugs again. As I finish up with the costumes, my phone buzzes. I pull it out to find a text from my mom, reminding me to be home in 40 minutes. Sigh. The leash is a yankin'. When I delete the message, I see that Matthew left the link to the Nerve site up, the game he knew I wouldn't attempt. I turn to Tommy. "Do you think I'm daring?" He steps back. Daring? I don't know. But you got a lot of charisma. Remember that time freshman year when you made up new words to the school song? That's the best I'm known for? Offensive lyrics that barely rhymed? With a grimace, I hold my phone out to him. "Would you ever sign up for this game?" He studies it. "Doubtful. It's awfully risky." "Not my thing, right?" "I didn't say that." Standing next to Tommy, I click through the game site. It lists a number of dares that people can do to apply for the live rounds, along with the pop-ups promising instant fame, and a video clip of a few of last month's Grand Prize winners attending a movie premiere. 2 of the girls flashed the serious bling that they won for their dares. Lucky ducks. I scan through the list. Most of the dares seem awful. But there's one to go to a coffee shop and dump water on yourself while shouting, "Cold water makes me hot!" Sounds like a stupid but less dangerous one than stealing nail polish, or even pretending to. I check my watch. Gotta have Java is between here and home. If I were quick enough, I could do it. That would take the little out of Matthew's vocabulary, which he includes with my name, even when he texts, something he's been doing since we started play rehearsal. Cute, flirty stuff, especially late at night. I eye Tommy. "Do you want to do something out of the ordinary?" His cheeks get pink. "You're not going to apply for the game, are you?" "No way. It's pretty late to get picked anyway." "But wouldn't it be fun to try a dare? Just to see what it feels like?" Not really." He blinks rapidly, as if his contacts are getting ready to call it a night. "You realize it would be posted online for the world to see, and since nobody has to pay for watching the prelim dares, that could be a lot of people." "Yeah, that's kind of the point." He cocks his head. You sure you're feeling all right? I march to the cabinet to lock up the spray bottle. I'm fine. You don't need to come with me. I just thought it would be fun. Maybe it would. He nods, clearly thinking it over. Okay, I'll video you. Oh yeah, I'd totally forgotten that I'd need someone to capture the dare. I grab my purse and head past him, feeling all Lara Croft. Great, let's go. He rushes to keep up with me. We can take my car. His parents gave him an action film-worthy Audi for his birthday. No, we'll take mine, I say. It is my dare. There's a dampness in the air that wasn't there earlier in the evening. Even though I'm about to dump water on myself in a coffee shop, I'm not in the mood for rain. Tommy and I hurry to my car, a 10-year-old Subaru with a steering wheel that rattles every time I hit the brakes. But it's mine, and it's cozy. We get in and I drive. I try to hum along to a hip-hop song on the radio, but my voice keeps breaking. Think anybody at Gotta Have Java will realize I'm doing a dare for nerve? He checks out my dashboard like maybe he'll find something more interesting than a low-end sound system with a little handwritten sticker on the knob that says pump up the volume. I don't think their regular clients are in the nerve demographic. I think it's funny how easily demographic rolls off his tongue, as if he's in advertising. It's the kind of thing my dad says. I suddenly feel queasy remembering my father's pale face at my hospital bed a few months ago, when he kept shaking his head and saying how my actions had seemed so out of character. Girls like me didn't end up parked in a garage with the motor running. Exactly, I told him. I shake away the thought. So I'll be just making a fool of myself in front of a bunch of folks who have no idea it's a game. Perfect. Last month, an announcer kept reminding the audience in a whispered voiceover that the players weren't allowed to tell the crowd that they were on a dare. Tommy's raised eyebrows say, duh, but he's too polite to voice it. Instead, he tells me about a documentary he saw on a samurai-style business school where the students have to sing on a busy street corner in order to get beyond their inhibitions. Maybe this will wind up being good for you, he says. I study him. He's actually better looking than I've ever given him credit for. Not that we'd ever be anything more than friends. With his clean-cut features, can-do attitude, and stock option wealthy parents, he'll probably end up running for political office before our 10-year reunion. Then I remember that I haven't even completed the application form. Do you mind going to the nerve site and filling it out for me? I ask. He turns on his phone and starts reading off questions as he types. I give him my address, phone number, email, and birthday, December 24th, the almostest day of the year. For my emergency contact list, which seems like overkill for a 2-minute dare, I include Sydney, followed by Liv, Yuli, Tommy, and Matthew, just for fun. 5 minutes later, after circling the coffee shop twice, I find a spot a block from Gotta Have a Java. The air's lost whatever's warmth it had during the day, promising an uncomfortable walk back to my car after the dare. Assuming I go through with it, which a tiny part of me is starting to doubt, I hand Tommy my jacket. Will you hold this so I have something dry to put on later? Maybe I should hold your purse too, just in case. What other guy would think about keeping the accessories safe? I shiver. Good thinking. Tommy holds my things tenderly, as if he's afraid to mar them, which really wouldn't be a catastrophe since I buy everything for half price at Vintage Love, where I work. We enter the coffee shop, and my heart races when I see that it's packed. It's one thing to choose a dare from a list on your phone, another to be performing it. Performing. Ugh, that's the problem. Like for the school play audition I ran out of? Or those world study reports I sweated through in front of the class? Why on earth is someone like me playing a game like this? I inhale, picturing Matthew kissing Sydney on stage, while I watch on the sidelines. Obviously, I'm doing this to prove something. Thank you, Intro to Psych. Tommy finds a seat at a community table near the center of the shop, and he sets our things down. He fiddles with his phone. The nerve site says I have to capture this on live feed, straight to them, so we can't edit the footage. I'll start as soon as you're ready. Okay. I creep to the back of the line, fighting the weird sensation that I'm losing control of my legs. It takes all of my concentration to place one leaden foot in front of the other, as if I'm wading across a swimming pool of syrup. Breathe, breathe, breathe. If only the coffee fumes weren't so strong. The ventilation here sucks. My hair and clothes will reek long after I leave. Will Mom notice? A couple in front of me argues whether they could get chai tea at night since it has caffeine, while a group of women in front of them pepper the barista with questions about calorie counts. Their chatter grates at my nerves. I want to yell that the folks who are worried about calories shouldn't be hanging out in places offering a dozen pastry options. I wave at one of the baristas in an attempt to get his attention. He just smiles and continues pumping espresso. The clock on the wall says 9:37. Crap. 23 minutes later until curfew, and I just realized I'll need to take Tommy back to the car before I can go home. I push my way toward the counter, causing a few angry comments. Once they see what I'm up to, maybe they'll shut up. No one wants to mess with a nut job. At the corner of the counter stands a pitcher of icy water and a stack of plastic cups. I fill one up, and I move to a spot near Tommy, trying not to spill it despite my trembling arms and legs. 9:39. I take a breath and I nod at Tommy, who points his phone and says something that I can't make out. A few people around us furrow their eyebrows, shooting me the stink eye. Tommy gives me a little smile and a thumbs up, which causes a massive wave of gratitude to rise in my chest. This would be impossible alone. Maybe it still will be. My body won't stop shaking, and I fight the urge to burst into tears. Geez, I'm such a wuss. No wonder I choked at the play auditions. I stare at the clock, suddenly feeling a sense of tunnel vision. Everything around me goes dark. All I see is the clock, pulsing like Edgar Allan Poe's telltale heart. This is ridiculous. It's just 1 cup of water and 1 line to recite. Sid would pour a whole pitcher while singing her favorite number from Les Mis. Of course, I'm not her. The racing of my heart progresses to pounding, and my head feels light. Every molecule in my body wants to run, or scream, or both. I tell myself to breathe. The dare will be over in a minute. Just a few moments more of enduring this terror. I wipe my cheek. As the clock on the wall moves to 9:40, I clear my parched throat. Can I do this? The question repeats itself even as I raise the cup over my head. Amazingly, my arm still works. In a voice barely above a whisper, I say, "Cold water makes me hot," and I pour a few drops on my head. Tommy squints like maybe he didn't hear me. I raise my voice, which comes out in a crackle, and say, "Cold water makes me hot." I pour the rest of the cup over my head. The icy shock clears my brain. Oh my God, I did it. And now I'm standing here soaked, wishing harder than ever for the ability to disappear. A nearby woman yelps and jumps away. "What the heck?" "Sorry," I say as water drips from my nose. I know I should be doing something, but my body is paralyzed except for my eyes, which take in a million details at once, and all of them seem to mock me. With conscious effort, I break my immobility spell and wipe my face with the back of my hand while some guy nearby snaps my picture. I give him a dirty look, and he snaps another. Tommy puts the phone down, staring at me with wide eyes. V? Oh boy, your shirt." He points at my chest with a look of horror. I start to look down, but I'm interrupted by a barista who runs toward me with a mop. He sneers at the puddle around my feet. "I'll do that," I say, reaching for the mop. Why didn't I think to grab napkins? He holds it away from me. Think I trust you with it? Please move. And if you aren't buying anything, please leave. Crap. It's not as if I spit in his blender. Sorry. I hurry toward the door. The air outside hits my wet shirt like a jump into Lake Washington. Tommy catches up to me and holds my jacket. Put this on, now! I look at my shirt under the outside light and catch my breath. What I hadn't considered before pouring water on myself was that my blouse was white cotton and that my bra was a thin silk blend. Me, the costume coordinator, who works part-time at a clothing store, should have realized the effects of dumping water on these fabrics. I may as well be wearing a wet t-shirt, and it was on camera. Oh my God, what have I done? Chapter 2. The first 2 sentences are, I grab at Tommy's phone. Delete the video. I can't. It was a live feed. Okay. I hope it hooked you. Oh my goodness. It's like escaping into a movie, and it allows you to experience some really difficult things through reading without having to make those choices yourself. And this book, she winds up developing a relationship with another contestant, Ian, and they wind up going down this road where you're not sure who is a watcher, who does the recording, and who is an actual friend, and you don't know like what people are capable of, because it's not just offering great rewards, it's also threatening to do things. And what would you do or not do if it meant something very important? You know what I mean? I love that about it. I love how people you don't suspect are actually maybe not all they appear to be. And I also loved how there's a romance streak in this, but it's not it's not over the top, not enough to make some readers uncomfortable. There are some words that are maybe, I'd say, it's not as bad as a lot of swear words in books. I would say probably a 13 and older person would be most comfortable reading this book. And yeah, it has a great message that our privacy is important, and how people who feel like just because they're online, what they say and do, because they have that anonymity, doesn't matter. And this book really shows how much it does matter, and how people need to be so aware of their netiquette, how they are behaving to people online. And hopefully it'll raise their awareness that there is another human being on the other line. And if you wouldn't do it, say it in person, then don't do it online. Anyways, not preachy, but that message is definitely there. Yeah. Also, don't take risks, please. It's a tough time being a young adult, and when people take some risks at TikTok and stuff, it's not worth it. And this is another message that you can get through Nerve. All right. Thanks for listening to me ramble on. You have a great week. Take care.